Good morning, Mamfe, my parents, my brothers and sisters, youths of Mamfe, Manu. I greet you all. This is the voice of former Mayor Ayuk Takunchung, now an IDP, because of the evil of Ambazonia terrorists. My message is captioned today, the 17th of February 2024, as what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Why do I say so? I say so because nemesis is the act of retributive judgment. We got up yesterday in the early hours of the morning and we were greeted by another chilling, barbaric, unacceptable killing of an industrious driver who runs Mamfe Ekok Road by name Peter, who was shot and killed by his peers, youths of Manu, who have picked up arms for a very long time now to kill their own people because they have advanced to a level now of evil, sheer evil, where they only enjoy sadistic pleasure in tormenting others. My heartfelt condolences to Drivers Union. You guys, like Cyclists Union, teachers, and others, you have put your lives on the guillotines of Ambazonia terrorists. Make no mistake, I'm not talking as a manual leader. I'm not talking as a mayor. I'm not talking as the smallest leader whatsoever. I am talking as a son of Manu, a crisis mayor who saw the precursors, imminent danger of Ambazonia as a son of Mamfe who has lived and experienced a life with the good, the bad, the ugly. And I voice it out. At the time, it was no one's fault because the idea of imbalance, marginalization, you name the rest, has eaten very deep into the hearts of at least 95% of the populace. And guess what? At least 96% of the populace supported Ambazonia erroneously, without a rethink, supported Ambazonia. Ambazonia became a norm. Finally, comparison have been made, and it has been proven that It is good to deal with the devil you know than to deal with the angel you don't know. Amazonia is a canker worm on our body politic today. It is a rotten tooth in the mouth of Manu that unless that tooth is removed, Manu must continuously chew with caution. What goes around comes around. Those we supported have turned the barrels of their guns against us today. Don't blame, or we should not blame, particular individuals. The success story against Amazonia is either our collective failure or our collective success. What's the idea of Amazonia today? Manu has totally and resolutely rejected Amazonia. But the power of the guns by 4 persons is stronger than the force of harmless 200 persons. But the extraordinary courage and determination of 15 persons can make the Amazonia guns to be powerless. Why is Amazonia thriving today? These guys who are doing the Amazonia thing, it is no longer because of independence. It is because of like 3 to 5 factors. The first is nothing but the love of money. They have succeeded to get school dropouts through their dangerous no school policy. That was a dangerous indicator for us to know that Amazonia is nothing but evil. For them to have stopped kids from going to school, it was for an obvious reason, to get as many school dropouts as possible so that they should become vulnerable to the whims and caprices, the manipulation, they get into drugs, they get into cultism without a rethink, just to fulfill their vaulting ambition of power and money. Like I said, our children today, Eta, Papi, Smalley, Jerome, Akko Wilson, the twin sons of Tamabang, and others that we know, they are still in Amazonia because they have fallen in love with money. They have tasted blood money. Amazonia has become their own new juicy office. And as such, they don't want to go out of it. Another reason is because of the evil. Evil has become a cardinal part of their life. They can thrive well in the presence of evil and violence. And what is the reason for all of this? Money is the root cause of all of these factors. They trade with human parts, they are into drugs, they are into banditry, they are into kidnapping, indiscriminate, heinous crimes carried out by them against us. These are just a few amongst deviant, diverse deviant reasons as to why they are still using the guns. Another one is about what goes around comes around. We are being paid in our own coins what we supported yesterday. Yesterday, because at the time when these children were being supported, they were supported against who? They were being supported to destroy Manu, because there is hardly a Manu family without a military officer. When we were saying Bosenen, our children, people were contributing monies left, right, center. Of course, some people wanted to vent their anger against the injustices at the time that prevailed. But have we taken stock to even find out what changes have come our way? We haven't. These children no longer care. Guess what? Cameroon will never be divided. If Cameroon is divided, Mamfe Manu will be like a face or a head without its mouth, eyes, ears, and nostrils. That's just it. There is no Manu family without a military officer. During the Bakassi crisis, we contributed monies in the Mamfe town hall to support our military. Drivers' union in those days supported 500,000 francs. Cyclists, our Glee Club women, all of us contributed monies to support our military officers. They brought us victory over the Bakassi struggle. So many of them lost their lives. Some of them, their family members are languishing in despair today because they are no longer there. We have lived with military officers, uniform officers, for a very long time. We have in-laws who are military officers. In my village, we have French-speaking names in my village because of the bond between the military and civilian. This bond is firmly bonded. Nobody can ever separate civilians from the military. That's the strong card, evil card of Amazonia leaders and fighters, that they tried hard for several years to pit us against the military. They succeeded. But now it has been proven that it is good to compare two things. And Amazonia has been rejected. It is our collective responsibility now to put this thing to an end, or we continue to pay heavy prices like the one which is fresh in our memories. The 6th November, newly out Egbeko. Does that cruel, primitive, barbaric, and harshest attacks on innocent civilians and their properties who were roasted in their homes. But do you know what? Some local people and some evil minds, home and abroad, they were quick to throw it on the military and some CPDM militants who had come to Manu to celebrate the 6th November. That obfuscate and misleading propaganda was easily bought by those who still hold some solidarity for Amazonia. But thank God, what goes around comes around. It was easily debunked, hastily as well, by those who saw these children They know them. So members of the community knew what they were coming to do. I want to say with every vigor, the villagers of Ebeko have condemned Ambazonia to the litter. But since their children are playing a leading role in it, blames are usually transferred. When these children came on that fateful day, they seized the phones of farmers. They held them at gunpoint. Our children carried out the act, and it has been proven. Some people have been exonerated. But even before the Seed November attack, don't we remember well enough how our reverend fathers were kidnapped? The universal body of Jesus Christ, Catholic Church, bent. The Pope sent a message. Manu came on the spotlight. Mame Jingwa has taught countless children. Her gratitude was the kidnapping of her son and peers, none and all of that. It is a curse. Ambazonia will never walk. God will never let it walk. Apart from the Catholic, did the bishop, did the moderator, and Christians of Presbyterian Church, the world at large, not cry foul over the burying alive of the chairman of PCC, Nchang, Mbo Prizo. And even after he was buried alive, families still paid monies to get him out. For us to end Ambazonia is a collective responsibility. Don't we remember the repeated massacre, the gruesome killings of villagers of Eshobi, a young tree? Some pregnant women were even raped, their heads decapitated. I want to move from there to take my horrifying flight to villages like Obonye, Bakinjo, Kesham. As a matter of fact, it is difficult to call a particular village and not to call another one. We have all, in the name of Mamfe Manual, experienced the worst sight of Ambazonia. And it is high time we stand up as one or we fall as one. We should not blame it on a particular person. It is our predicament. The drivers, each time they're applying our roads, their hearts are in my hands. They are going through a lot. The insecurity is horrible. Today, you don't know who is who. We don't need to always blame it on them. Of course, there are complacencies. Some of them who take information to them, who take food to these our wicked children, so-called Ambazonian fighters, who give the money. As a matter of fact, the economy of war is also another factor in this Ambazonia crisis. Those who want this crisis to continue because of economic gains. We know what is happening in Manu. How our own children are fighting to block others from doing business. They are doing that in synergy of these our children in the boats. Because of money, they wouldn't come out. Don't we know Manu children whose goods have been auctioned in our face? Is that not destructive enough? Don't we know innocent Manu children who were reported at the military tribunal in Boya for supporting Ambazonia, of which it was fake because of the instrument of economy of war? But all of that has been consumed by the thick fog of oblivion. Recently, we have received a new SDO. Let us count on him to take Manu with our collaborations to another level. Make no mistake, the stage has been set for Manu to move higher on the 11th of February, 2024, where youths from all the corners of Manu came out fearlessly to celebrate their day again. Youths are the visionary men and women of these androids and gender sensitive periods. These can only be actualized through the power of education, the driving force that empowers confidence, authority, objectivity, smartness. The world is changing. The world is moving on the high lane of ICT, not on the low ways of drugs, cultism, and guns. No man, your son or daughter, go back to history. We are a Christian dominated people. No man, your son or daughter, has ever risen to prominence to become a minister, for example, a prolific teacher, a lecturer, engineer, a banker, a servant of God who can preach the word with power and conviction for the reign of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to come out soon. There is no manual child who has risen to the position of a principal, a prominent business person, a diplomat, a nurse, you name the rest, out of the barrels of the gun. Not to talk about magistrates, accountants. Never. Violence, guns, evil, destruction has never been part of our manual DNA. Our manual DNA is about education, hard work in agriculture, business, and being one another's keeper. My dear brothers and sisters, especially the youths of Manu, the hour has come without apportioning blame, without criticizing no one, for us to stand up, contribute resources, remove some of those children who are willing to come out, but they have been held hostage by their wicked and soulless colleagues, their leaders. Some of them are also in bondage because they have been told that if they come out, they are going to kill members of their family and all of that, all of that. They are going to burn their house, like what happened to Bibish of Nchang. But if your family must pay a price when you come out, in terms of burning your house or family house, and so what? Come out and spare your soul from the blood of your own people. Nobody kills innocent people and goes scot-free. The biggest prison on earth is that of the conscience. You who is still supporting Ambazonia, your turn will soon come from the hands of the same Ambazonia fighters and from no one else. Today, we should all be careful. Whenever a Manyoson is arrested, we should all stand up and say a fair investigation should be carried out. Anybody who is not linked be released. A typical example is what happened in Buea, where some of our own greedy and wicked children went and reported their friends at the military tribunal, as I had cited, and they were found not guilty. If it was on those bad days that they were transporting them from Mamfe to Buea, and Ambazonia fighters attacked them on the highway, say they eventually killed the military and the two who were being escorted to Buea, God forbid. It could have been that who killed them. Their own brothers, their own friends killed them. So the enemy is within. That enemy is manual. And the sooner we all stand up, our mayors, you guys have a critical role here. Form your think tank, come up with an inventory. All the active fighters in your various municipalities, constitute a list. Constitute a list of family members who can reach out to them, their friends who can reach out to them, their middlemen who can reach out to them. These children are not operating in a void. Before they leave Nigeria to come to the forest of Yimojok, people sit in the confines of their homes. They know their movements. Before they left Akwaya, went through Tamfo, they are now raining a rain of terror on innocent and poor villagers of Awanchi Betieku clan. That is where the mother of Eric Tato comes from. Ako Wilson or Ako Giant, he's chopping up the fingers of villagers, even after receiving monies from some of them. And do you know what? Of course, we know the story about Garidem. Awanchi, the people of Upper Banyan, you people should find out who is General Garidem and where does his mother hails from. What goes around comes around. If we stand up as one person, irrespective of you being our political leader, which is good and we are blessed, our senators, our political father, teachers, farmers, we stand up together. We contribute resources. We remove the coalition of the willing. And guess what? We have reached a point where there is no turning back. Reverend fathers have paid huge prices. Servants of God have been killed. Our chiefs, Manu chiefs have been killed. Teachers have been killed. Parents have been killed. Youths have been killed. Foreigners have been killed. It is a time, if you're a traditional ruler, Do the needful. You have the powers. Those powers were bestowed. Those inherent powers, if you got into power judiciously, the inherent powers of our ancestors who are yelling in their graves are in you. Manuchis, let us come together and do the needful. If you are a Christian, the best gospel should be an open gospel on our pulpits. God, bring down the evil and stronghold of Ambazonia forces. That should be your sermon. This is the time that we need fearless preachers. The church is the universal body of Christ. This is the hour. If you're a Muslim, pick up your Quran. Tell Allah, Allah, we have cried too much. We want you to act against Ambazonian fighters. Some of these children will come out. A total denunciation will bring them out. Trust me, so many Manu children in abroad, at least 85% of Manu children abroad, no longer give these children their money. That's why they are now into indiscriminate killing. They kill Peter like that. Nobody should blame Peter. You know how terrorists operate? They kill even the innocent. They rape them. They burn houses. Our hospital is gone. Equipped General Hospital, Eta, whose father was delivered in that same hospital, organized the burning of our hospital, our schools, our churches, our homes, you name the rest, endless of them. You know what they're doing that? They are spreading fear and fright. They don't bother to kill 10 persons just to make a phone call to receive 2-3 million from others who will be fighting. See, if I don't give you, see, they have killed this person, they're coming to kill me. Our drivers are going through a lot ever since this crisis started. They need decoration more than criticism. Who sees a gun and does not relent? At times, we blame our farmers of even Ebeko when they are arrested that someone saw them eating with Ambazonian fighters. When you are in your bush hut, they come there, they will lay you. Guess what? If it is me, Ayuk Takunchung, if I'm eating, I see them with their guns, I'll tell them, please, suppose you come and let us eat. Because I want to save my life. But when I do that, I have to come back and report that this is where these children saw me and we ate together because I wanted to free my life. Report yourself to the military silently so that tomorrow, if you are misrepresented, you have an excuse that this is what happened. By implication, any farmer, be it in a Gbeko village, Nchang, Kimbung, or Gumoko, anywhere, if you see these children, we know their bush tracks. We know their hideout. If you wanted to end as a one-man, your family, it will be over. When you see them, say something to save a life. When you see them, say something to save a life. In the name of Manu, we are all one. We are all one. We have to end this thing. We can't get up every morning, blood. If it is not blood, a natural disaster, properties have been burned. Some of these things are premonition, telling us to stand up or more bad things will happen. When we do our best, I want to give here a good example. We know a family in Upper Banyan, Professor Agbo Bechem. That family did not sleep until Ashu Are had to surrender. So there was a time people were trying to castigate Professor Abobechem that he sat with a former Amazonian fighter. Please, if you are an Amazonian fighter, you want to surrender. If you see me anywhere, come, I'll embrace you to say you should surrender. Let me tell you what happened. I have been into the forest of Nchang, Okoyom, Bisongabang, Ebeko. The last one was Ebeko. When I was going to go to Ebeko, my brother, Colonel Lewat, who is now assistant colonel, he was the company commander at the time. He said, Ayuk, don't go. I said, I'm going. I'm going to meet my children, my junior brothers. I went there. Eta was there. Bob was there. Tabor was there. Benoit, who shot the principal of Ebeko, his leg has been amputated. He was there. We discussed. I pleaded with them. And guess what? These children said they need money to assemble their friends from Eshobi, Akwaya, and other areas to say no, their fathers come and talk to them, and as such, they want to go out. Ayonkwo was there. I don't joke with Ayonkwo, who is now the San president. That's why when he escaped Mamfe and went to Kumba, I knew he was innocent. I told him to come back, and I took him to Anaba, the former colonel of the military. I say, I trust this boy, he's not there. Anaba said, okay, Mr. Mayor, work with him. Let us end this thing. If we have love for one another, this thing will be over. But again, also, we have some hardened criminals in our villages, even in Ebeko, who still communicate with these children. They have to stop. And this message which I'm sending is also polite warning. Anybody who is caught collaborating with Ambazonia, fighter or leader, please, you pay a very high price. You pay a high price because the blood of our people who have been killed, their blood is crying for vengeance, and their blood have become walls, forest, firewood, the ground that we walk on, have ears, have eyes and mouth to report. I now move to a concluding phase of my outing. When we succeed to remove our children who are willing to come out, the next should be that our Cameroon military should go on rampage. It is not done that for 7 or 8 years today, no matter how thick and dangerous the forest of Akwaya, Eyimojok, Upper Banyan is kind of narrow, winding, life-threatening because of underdevelopment, they have not had a mastery on those about those areas. I don't think it is done that way. Then why the huge sums of monies pumped in as fight against Ambazonia? That brings us onto another platform that not only some cruel and selfish civilians are in the economy of war as far as this Ambazonia crisis is concerned. I want to also believe that some military people want this thing to continue in as much as they're making their money at the expense of the lives of military officers and civilian officers. We all have to stand up in the name of our country, Cameroon, which is one and indivisible. We all stand up together and Ambazonia and Boko Haram end the ills of our society, or else they bring us down. We don't have potable water in Mamfe Manyo. Majority people don't have potable water. At what age, at what era? Are we talking about electricity? These drawbacks have been compounded by Ambazonia. We cannot carry out meaningful development without peace and security. We even say we don't have water, electricity, and all of that. Don't we remember new workers who were kidnapped, tortured? It is no strange history. Technicians of these sectors have been kidnapped, terrorized, some of them killed, huge sums of monies extorted from them. Let us stand up. We have the opportunity through the new SDO to change things around. We have to build on the success of 11th February. I am not afraid. I am Ayuk Takunchung. You all know I was the first to voice out the dangers of Ambazonia. I paid the price. I was kidnapped, traumatized. Money went. My son of 3-year-old was kidnapped, traumatized. It was late Mayor Ojong and wife who paid the ransom of my son. May the soul of Mayor Ojong rest in perfect peace. He paid the ransom for my son on the 26th of August 2020, not long thereafter he was killed by his own wicked people, so-called fighters. Tabot was that day. That the day that Ojong was killed, Tabot called, threatening me, Ayuk Takunchung. We don't kill me, Ojong remain you. Today some people open their mouth to talk rubbish. Well, God is good. As if enough is not enough. They burned 4 of my cars in front of my house. Finally, they burnt my house. My house is their house. All of those things cannot be compared to the life of one man's son or daughter, or the lives of those who have been killed. At least in Manu, if 90 citizens have been killed, Ambazonia fighters have killed at least 83. Our mayor people should bring out the inventory. Material destruction, lives destroyed. Pache, the palaces of our chiefs are gone. Subjects buried alive, yet we fold our hands. May God forgive us and save Manu. Let us build on the stage that has been set fearlessly on the 11th of February 2024. God save us. Mayor Emeritus Siseko Ayuk Takunchung John Senior IDP. Chababa Dibo Motame.